Macchio, because I resembled Ralph Macchio in his breakaway role in the smash film Karate Kid, which was the #1 movie around the world for 18 months. And callow, because I had one eyebrow. And lucky for me, there was a kid in my class who took an early interest in art history. Note, I know some of you, my mother, are thinking that I was unique and special in a darling way, that I was kooky and lovable. Wrong. This was pre-Lena Dunham. Unique and special weren't celebrated back then. This was 1985, and I was just the weird girl who sang the Thermos song from The Jerk aloud to no audience. Second note, when I say no audience, I mean that literally I had very few friends, unless of course you count my hero, my Papa Charlie, aka my best friend, who loved 4 things equally: cocktails, cigarettes, Carvel ice cream, and me. His wife, my Grandma Mary, my namesake, had Alzheimer's disease. So while Papa and I were dressing up as a cadre of aging 1970s TV stars, we loved watching The Love Boat and Fantasy Island in costume. Grandma could often be found vacuuming our front lawn in her nightgown or attempting to cook the Thanksgiving turkey in our linen closet. So here I am, friendless, hairy, deeply uncool, and not Jewish, so not Jewish. And I really tried. I wanted to be Jewish so badly that I electively went to Hebrew school with my best friend Lauren. I attended so often that I can recite the entire Haftorah. And I'm fairly certain I was the only Italian 8-year-old who looked into the Shabbos Goy program at the nearby Long Island Jewish Hospital. When my father asked me what that was, and I replied, "You know, Shabbos Goy. I'm going to push the elevator buttons for the Orthodox Jews at the hospital on Saturdays," I was met with a double helping of that look parents reserve for their most worrisome child, the one about whom they're just not sure. On the rare days the kids call me by my real name, Mary, I almost longed for the moniker Macchio Callow, because the name Mary was yet one more reminder of just how far from Jewish I was. Sidebar, I would gladly accept being called Macchio these days, instead of the man I am mistaken for on a daily basis, former mayor of New York City, Rudy Giuliani. For the record, it's Mary, not mayor. Back to my one eyebrow. I was so uncool that other kids' parents took pity on me and forced their kids to invite me to all the parties. So in 1986, I attended 178 bar and bat mitzvahs. Picture, if you will, a unibrowed Ralph Macchio dressed in a poofy pink dress, attending 2 or 3 of these soirees a weekend. Where was Macchio Callow during these extravagant rites of passage? Not being pursued by a cute boy named Seth from Syosset, not holding hands with Allie Cohen and all the cool girls during the Horror Circle. Nope. Macchio Callow could be found Sabbath after Sabbath, parked outside the door to the caterer's kitchen, waiting for the silver tray of those shiny, buttery, salty, perfect little tiny hot dogs, also known as pigs in a blanket. I guess you could say this is where the love affair began. Fast forward to 1997. Macchio Callow graduated Georgetown University, another place I didn't really belong, and arrived in New York to pursue another highly unattainable dream, an acting career. Yes, I was going to be an actress. I was going to make it in the city that never sleeps. How'd it go? Put it this way. I had a better chance of being Jewish. The closest I ever got to stardom was hanging Lorne Michaels' coat while working at celebrity Mecca Nobu during a short stint as a co-check attendant. But I approached every small gig or audition as my next big break, blindly and happily guided by my wildly unrealistic optimism until it ran dry. Defeated and broke, I answered an ad in the New York Times for a sales position at a catering company that boasted clients in the arts, fashion, and entertainment. Little did I know that this job, which I took with no greater aspiration than to no longer bounce checks at Blockbuster Video, would end up being my greatest role. Here I was, reunited with that silver tray containing my salty, buttery, glistening little friends, those tiny hot dogs. Very quickly, I decided to trade in one dream for another and follow that tray. Maybe not literally like I did when I was 13 around bedazzled event spaces, but in a real way. Real for me, at least. I stopped worrying about when I'd get my big break.